Welcome back to Misery Loves Mandy, a podcast about misery.
Speaking of misery, cheers.
Come to the Patreon where we say racial slurs.
Oh my God. Yeah, you should subscribe to my Patreon though. So please.
Donate.
We need
Don't
it.
hate, donate.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that is fun. That's a great saying.
Sounds like something, don't hate, donate when something bad happens. And they're trying to like make everybody,
It's actually a wet t-shirt contest with that on it.
hell yeah.
And then they make so much money.
Do they still do those
I think that died in rom-coms in the 90s.
wet t-shirt contests?
Wasn't that in what movie?
Bring them back.
What movie did we just watch with Will Ferrell? And do the white t-shirt and the old guy has a heart attack.
Old School. What a good movie.
Great movie.
That's when comedies were funny.
They can't do that anymore. They can't do anything. I was watching The Wedding. Jennifer, I think I talked about this already. Jennifer Lopez.
The Wedding.
The Wedding Planner.
Oh, I don't watch that.
And she's dancing with Matthew McConaughey, and she's like, "You're such a good dancer." And he's like, "Yeah, I used to take dance lessons." And she goes, "I didn't know you were gay."
Oh, yeah, you can't say that.
They're always just fun to watch too, because of like knowing what would happen now if a movie did that.
Yeah, we talked about today. Shallow Hal could never be done.
Never.
What would the remake of Shallow Hal be? Like, you can't even attack a certain group of people, or you'd get,
Yeah.
they would get canceled.
You can't be shallow anymore.
What the heck did we just watch too? I feel like we just watched a movie, and I was like, Jesus
Was
Christ.
it Meet the Fockers? I mean, Meet the Parents?
I feel like there was a part in that. Oh, when they were like shitting on him for being a male nurse.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, it's so funny because we recognize it, and we're so used to like hearing things get, movies, etc., get reprimanded. I react like, Jesus, dude. Like, we're on the side of like, you can't do that. It's not like with Shallow Hal, we're like, that's dumb. They can't do that. Like when I heard like what are you, male nurse? You fucking pussy. And like, and we're reacting like, hey, chill, bro. We're like, we're the woke ones when watching the movie.
Wouldn't have seen that coming.
I know, right? I'll drink to that.
You're saying it sucks the whole hair of the dog thing because you really eventually you have to come to terms with this hangover.
Yeah, you're just hair of the dog is just running a a little
Yeah, it's just
like
prolonging.
it's like the murderer in the Scary Movie Walking. It's you just running slightly further, knowing he's gonna get you. He might just be a little more tired and not as strong, but hair of the dogs. When we did the Bloody Marys that day, I knew I was like, this is gonna suck later. But guess what? It's like doing a deal with the devil. Like, I'll feel good now knowing it will be worse later. You're like, I just can't do this now. I will happily ingest this Bloody Mary, be buzzed when I shouldn't be buzzed. And I will, pay the price later.
But the longer you have to come to terms with it, it makes it easier. The initial shock in the morning is like...
What do you think the best hangover cure is?
I think the Bloody Marys really did the trick.
Okay, non-alcoholic best hangover cure.
Oh, greasy burger and a Coke.
So you're just going the food route.
Yeah, alcohol's out. Food's the only thing left I could think of. A sauna? But you don't have the energy to get to the gym.
I think one that we talked about when we were coming back from Boston, a part of like putting something in your stomach, if you can handle it, because I know some people get nauseous. I think the best non-alcoholic hangover cure, one, is put a little food in your stomach, whether it's a protein shake or not. And two, which is one you wouldn't think about, is just pretend like you don't have a hangover. that day when we left Austin, and I was like, I don't have time to acknowledge this hangover because we had to get in the rental car, drive an hour, trade in the rental car, get on the plane. I was like, and honestly, a part of me felt better because I was like, I don't have fucking time to deal with your bullshit. It's like anxiety. If you give it focus, it's bad. But when you're too busy, it can't affect you.
It's true.
So
luckily we kicked the hangover to the curb.
We did it, you know.
And then I had a burger at the airport that made me sick for a week.
Yeah, she was gassy.
Oh, he was turned off.
Her stomach sounded haunted. You heard.
It was alive. It was alive.
That burger took 3 hours to come out. To go in our mouth, and it took 3 hours to get out of my All right.
I think my New Year's resolution, which I was thinking that people should do their New Year's resolutions before, because it always takes was it 21 days to form a habit?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, start in December, maybe even November, because you're gonna have your fuck ups.
When do you want to start doing a resolution?
I think it should start the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, it's like a resolution preseason.
Yes.
And then you kind of you do it's like the Hard Knocks documentary in the NFL where you're cutting resolutions like you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, can I be on the practice squad? No. And then come January, you come to the public's eye with the starting roster resolutions.
So then, yeah, when the year starts, you've tested it, you've proven it, the whole hypothesis scientific method, the scientific method. I'm pretty smart. What did you say earlier? The the skin?
Endo or ectoskeleton. I'm a scientist.
He's so smart.
Do you know what the difference is?
Ecto is the outside.
There you go. So give an example of that. The more you know, and just have the graphic come across the screen.
The ectoskeleton is my skin, my epidermis.
Ectoskeleton is exterior, right?
My skin?
No, that's not a skeleton. An ectoskeleton's like a lobster, an ant. Because it's on the outside.
Oh, we're talking about bugs.
Their skeletons on the outside and all the juice jellies are on the inside. We're the opposite. We gotta rot up our ass, and they pack Jello on top of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
you should have micro wieners on the show because I'm now thinking of you should have the macro wiener, which is like the wiener of the week or whatever it is, and then
the weekly wiener.
You should have the weekly wiener. Then you should have micro wieners, which are kind of like. Because I was going to say, remember how long it took to get our burgers at the Austin airport? And you're like, what the fuck are you doing back there?
It took so
You're making
long.
a burger, which I get you have to make one, but you have a flat top. You can make a bunch. It took probably, 30 minutes?
Minimum. But the thing was why it should have been quicker, because it's a burger restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
All they serve is burgers and fries.
You're like, you should have a bucket of fries. And we're starving too. We didn't eat.
Yeah.
It was like 2:30. Our flight took off at 3:30 or 3:15. It was one of those things where like, oh, we have so much time to kill, and then we're like, we have no time to kill.
Like this is gonna be relaxing and nice.
So Spirit Airlines made her gassy.
Oh,
we're coming after you.
Yeah, that really hurt.
Those spirits turned to ghouls.
It was. If I was alone that night, I would have gone to the hospital. Is how bad it hurt. I was just
gas pains are scary.
It hurt so bad.
The first time I ever had them, I told you I went to the hospital because I went to the urgent care. It was probably 5 years ago. It was the day before flying home for Christmas, and my stomach was just like ripping, and I'm like, this is so painful. And I went to the urgent care, and they go, well, if you have abdomen pain, we have to send you to the ER. And I went there, and next thing you know, I'm on my back, and my shirt's up, and some man's rubbing a stick with jelly on it, and we're looking at the ultrasound. And he was like, "Who's the father?" And I was like, "Taco Bell." Just a big gas bomb in my stomach.
Could you see the air bubble in the ultrasound?
No.
Is that a dumb question?
Jeez, it's not a baby.
I don't know.
You should see it, but I don't know. Anyway, they didn't see it, but Ever since then, I now know what gas pains feel like. I think I would know the difference between like a gas pain and like your spleen. What is yours?
Your
Gallbladder. That's one.
No,
Your
it's
gallbladder and your appendix.
Appendix. That's what I was thinking. But I've had gas pains many times before. My mom would always.
Yes, she has.
My mom would. I got them so much. My mom would always be stuck in the bathroom. She'd rub my belly and be like, "You're gonna be okay." But this was.
She says this.
There was the craziest movie, and I can't remember what it's called right now, with the guy who plays Harry Potter, which is what he loves to be called. Where at the end,
Daniel Radcliffe.
He at the end of this movie, it was such a great weird indie film. He farts, and the fart makes him become a boat, and his fart.
Like a jet ski?
Yeah, like it motorizes him to take someone somewhere through his fart. It was the craziest movie.
Google those facts and tell me what pops up. Man farts turns into boat.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's just some freak site from Japan.
That would be.
That would be, that's
You're
crazy.
into it. But to circle back, New Year's resolution this year, which he made a good point. I eat too fast.
Yeah, she does.
So that could have.
Goddamn Kirby over here. He would eat fast.
Kirby from the game?
Mm-hmm. Remember he would suck all the food in?
I don't remember that, but we just watched High Score, the documentary, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
And it shows you how each game was created. And Kirby was a guy that they loved.
He was their lawyer.
Yeah.
And he won them the case against Atari.
Yeah.
That was a great thing. But yeah, you eat like a fucking...
So I
like you have rows of teeth down your throat. You ever see somebody, you're like, how are you swallowing already? Like I'm like, I eat very slow. We're on different ends of the spectrum. I eat very slow. I chew till it's just a mushy liquid. Sometimes you swallow. I'm like, is that safe to swallow that early?
One day I ate slow and he looked at me with the sweetest, most concerning face.
Oh yeah, you ate so slow. I was like, are you all right? Usually I reach to get the salt and she's like growling. I'm like, I'm not taking your food.
It's funny when you are still hungry and someone's still eating and you're just staring at their plate thinking like, I hope that they fill up.
And then I laugh scared and I go, I'm done. Even though I'm still hungry. Sometimes I have to eat in the bathroom. And I hear this. You done? What are you in there?
It's just scratching noise.
It's like when cats put their hand under the door. Mandy's hand's just under the door. I'm like, I mean, I'm shitting.
Oh.
I hate rappers.
So yeah, my New Year's resolution, which I've been working on, which is why I started early, because I've been failing most of the time, is to start eating slower.
I'm curious how you can like, what do you have to say? Like, it's going to take me 10 minutes, whether it's I like it or not?
No, it's easy to tell because I just keep up with you.
I savor my food.
I
used to eat so slow, my mom and sister would be like cleaning up around me and I would just be sitting at the table alone, just staring with a chunk of food in my cheeks. I'm like a snake. I let it just absorb into my cheeks like it's chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
I don't like
He doesn't like swallowing.
I don't like swallowing. Spit my food on my back.
And call me Sally.
I thought I was choking once. Did I ever tell you that? I think I told you that story.
Tell them.
It was around my first panic attack. Anxiety was new. I was freaking out. And I was at a stag, which is like a bachelor party. But you invite a bunch of like friends of friends. It's like a fundraiser for the guy who's about to get married. And we were at one, and I remember like inhaling, and spit hit the back of my throat, and I thought I inhaled food, and I had like a full blown panic attack. And ever since then, I eat super slow because I over chew.
Oh wow,
that's why I eat slow. So
there's more to it. One day I swallowed.
Laugh at my pain.
That's what we're doing here.
But yeah, so that's why. Embarrassing moment.
Number one, done.
I was at the goddamn ER they're like, they gave me Xanax, and I went home.
Did we talk about this last time you were on? If you missed episode 1 of Misery Loves Mandy, it was with Matty Chymbor, and he's back. I told you he would be back.
Oh, I'm back. And I'm going to keep telling the same story like a trauma victim. Episode, my 4th time going on. I choked on spit. Start crying.
The one about the smoothie. That was crazy.
Oh my God. I thought we did. No,
They're right. Didn't we do it? I can't remember.
No, we talked about the camera in my.
Oh.
We talked about the camera in my penis.
The camera. He had a camera in his cock, episode 1.
Yeah, it was a big camera
Check
too.
it out.
It was a camera crew. They go, get a load of this. So roomy. Yeah, we were on a big smoothie kick, and then that we drank. This happened to me a long time ago, and I remember I was hungover, but I think when it happened, I was at dinner and I didn't think of it, and we kept drinking. So I must have just I knew it was weird. But I was kind of buzzed, and I stopped caring. But we're making smoothies one morning. We're a little hungover, not crazy, and I chugged the smoothie. And immediately I started getting like heart palpitations and like flutters. And I was like, well, that's weird. And it literally lasted 3 hours. And I was like, oh, I'm having a heart attack. Because I Googled it.
Never
and they go,
Google.
It goes away in a couple minutes. And they're like, seek medical attention if it lasts more than a half hour. And I'm at hour 3, like, oh, I'm going to die. And I remember telling you, and we're like, oh, I'm just going to ignore it. And then finally, we went to the urgent care, and it's because you have like a sciatic nerve or some major nerve like around here. It's kind of like when you splash cold water on your face. If this nerve gets activated, it kind of triggers like a involuntary flutter, which is the thing. But that scared the shit out of me.
So if that happens to you,
hey, hashtag
okay.
Scared boys. Where are my scared boys at?
Where's my gassy girls at?
If I was a caveman, my tribe would be like 3 people, and I'll be screaming, running away from other tribes. Our hearts would be fluttering, like ah! It's getting chased by Willie Mammoth.
Oh, the old Willie.
Yeah.
Willie Mammoth is really like
so
one
she
of.
said.
Willie Mammoth is really one of the first
Let's hear this fact. Let's hear this fact you could barely get out. Her eyes even lit up like she had a good point. The Willie Mammoth is actually the first.
Wait till you have
panicking. You don't realize you actually don't know the fact. The Willie Mammoth's actually. Funny you said that. It's actually the first.
No.
It's the first Willied mammoth.
Wait till you hear my fact.
Let's hear it.
It's more of
Einstein.
It's more of an observation.
Okay, so it's not a fact.
My fact observation is that the Willie Mammoth is actually the first animal to have its name lived on by a human. Willies. There's Willies. There's.
Just bring up the TED Talk logo right now.
Oh shit! Oh.
Thank you. That's my TED Talk.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. It's the president.
Yeah. I know I'm not supposed to do the facts anymore, but I thought I had that one.
You shared classified information.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah. No, I told her not to say it. It's not true. She's drunk again.
It's an observational fact.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. No. 8 inches. It is. Okay. Okay, bye.
What did he ask was 8 inches?
Nothing. The Willie Mammoth.
Oh.
This week on Willie Mammoth Facts. The Willie Mammoth is actually the first mammoth to have Willie live on in its name.
Do you know the Willie Mammoth?
Make up a fact about the Willie Mammoth that sounds true.
The Willie Mammoth was the first animal that turned on its other gender's mates by having a really good, luxurious bush.
Mm.
What's your Willie Mammoth fact?
They have 3 eyes.
It's hidden by the hair.
One's in its stomach.
The Willie Mammoth is actually one of the only animals.
The Willie Mammoth actually is Puerto Rican. They originated in Puerto Rico. And they go, ooh, so hairy. All right.
I think we should stop with the Willie Mammoth
Yeah,
stuff.
we're gonna cut this part out.
We're not gonna. You ready to do some weekly wieners?
Yeah, let's go. You go first, though.
Okay. So this one, we both were around this weekly wiener, and we've talked about these wieners before. There's many of these wieners out there.
Yeah, there is.
The person who has a, air quotes, good voice that has to sing every time music is playing in the background.
They're always auditioning.
There's this grocery store. They got to sing along, weddings, sing along during the ceremony.
It's not just singing. It's not like singing along. It's singing their best
Mm-hmm.
and shutting their eyes, putting their hand over their ear like they're hearing for, variances in their voice.
It's just like, and also it's like, it's like you just got to let everyone know that I can sing anytime the opportunity is given.
It's annoying.
It's weird because
It's bizarre. It's very like perverted. I mean, if we're at dinner and they're like, "Hey, I can sing pretty good." Oh, oh, oh. And
there's no warning though. They usually don't say I could sing really well. They just start singing.
But you feel them looking for an opening, and it's
You do feel the opening surge.
it's too much.
That would be like if a comedian was like searching for like to pitch a joke.
That was sad. As you were saying this weekly wiener, I was like, we do though. We're the singers, but with humor.
Are we?
Yeah.
Shit. That's
Because
probably why
when the singer wants to like find like or like you ever eat one of those? It comes out, but
sometimes I guess.
I think they're more annoying though. But yeah, that's a good weekly wiener.
Thank you. It was today at the grocery store too. I heard someone singing, and I was like, I turned around and I was like, "Who is this person that has to sing?" I can't.
It was the person we wrote the wiener about.
I didn't want to say it because I didn't want them to know.
We wrote down the wiener.
Okay, well, she's not going to listen to it, and if she does, it's fine. She's great. But yeah,
or he.
Or he. Oh, fuck. I could have made it so much better. So, yeah, it's actually crazy.
Or it.
Or it. It. The person that it was at dinner.
Or lunch.
My face gets so awkward when I say something I shouldn't on the podcast. I think I like turn red like a middle school.
Mandy lies like a kid. She turns red and starts sputtering.
So, okay. Cat's out of the bag.
Ooh.
So the person that was singing at dinner was 3 nights ago. And then today at the store.
I mean, you can lie. I mean, we're trying to lie to make it ambiguous.
The lie is fucked.
Okay. It was maybe last week too.
Okay. It was like a year ago.
Just say her name. We're like, or a girl, but anyways, it was 3 nights ago at this place. You're like, I mean, fuck. We're kind of losing any chance to hide the identity of this person.
She's a great, they are great. They're great. I'm definitely red now.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I just stopped wearing like lower shirts because my chest breaks out in red whenever like I get uncomfortable. Not that I'm uncomfortable here, but you're in this moment. So
that's why when we're having sex. Boy, you're pretty blotchy. I'm enjoying it. Okay.
Oh, it's good. So,
We've never had sex.
No.
Saving it for Lord. She keeps saying.
I don't know how to do the Catholic thing. I think it's something like this. So that's actually makes the story a lot better though, now that I'm telling you the truth. The wiener from dinner was 3 nights ago. Today we're at the grocery store and I hear
at a crowded grocery store. We're not going to say the name of the grocery store. Let's start being vague.
Yeah, it just has like 2 initials.
Crowded grocery store, 3:15 on a Sunday, peak grocery hours, and you hear out loud vocal coaching. Happy holidays.
Holidays.
Ooh, we're pretty good.
I know. You should start singing more.
Yeah, you should.
And I turn and I'm like, this is so weird. We just talked about these people. And it was her. I couldn't believe it.
Lo and behold.
It was him.
And he was bad at singing at 5 p.m. At Whole Foods.
So that was, I think, pretty damn funny.
Why is it annoying? I'm curious. Like, I think it's like keep your. No one wants to hear it. I don't know why it's so annoying.
Well, that's the main thing about a wiener. It's something that shouldn't bug us that it does.
I know.
I think it bugs me.
I'm triggered that a wiener is an annoying thing.
A dick
Why
is
can't
great.
it be a pussy of the week?
Get him, guys. Get him.
Yeah.
Get him.
Male rights 2023.
A pussy has been stamped also as a very bad thing.
It's a wimp.
Yeah.
And a wiener is annoying. So I get it. We're both negative genitals.
Yeah.
They cancel out. They cancel out.
But a vagina, let me tell you.
What?
That thing is strong.
You said that like you're partially deaf. Woman, no.
A vagina is really strong and it could birth babies, but it's not really a sexual thing. It's more of a scientific thing that was given to us. But sometimes the pussy is a pussy and it comes out of the woman's stomach and then they have a scar forever. And it's called a C-section. Woolly mammoths.
What?
And that's my wiener.
Yeah, it is annoying. That's a good wiener, though.
Thank you. This is why I think it's the wiener. This is why I think I don't like the person, which is like, it's probably just points like at me for my shit. But it's because they think they're cool. Like the hot girl that was like in a bathing suit eating pizza and being like, like it's like that like vibe of the.
I think it's because it's like a look at me. It's like they're showing off.
But they're showing off, but trying to act like they're not showing off.
Right.
And just if you're gonna show off, show off. And if you're not, then you're not. Mm-hmm. We don't want this middle.
So what do you recommend she does?
Sing the whole fucking song.
Just stand up and go, excuse me. Thank you for being a friend. And we all start grease snapping.
That would be good.
Travel down the road and waggle girl.
Oh, before your wiener, this was...
Before I pull out my wiener, I don't understand the show. Here's my wiener.
No!
When my dick comes out, it makes this noise.
Speaking of pulling out wieners, we just watched the Maxwell...
penis show.
Maxwell, what?
PBS.
Giselle Max. It was crazy. It was actually puppets.
The 23rd annual Maxwell Penis Show. Live. PBS.
Sweetie, can you get my wine? The PBS Wiener Festival's on.
Your father's on it. Coming out of Rhode Island, Steve.
Hurry, sweetie, he's on. I don't want to watch Dad's penis, Mom.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, fuck. Did we go too far?
No, that was just...
No, it was like in that world, it was normal.
The peanut, yeah, okay. What were you saying? Oh,
we just watched, speaking of wieners, the Giselle Maxwell documentary on Netflix. Nothing funny to say about that, but great.
She's a little whore, huh?
Oh, she was. That was a good example.
I didn't realize she's a fucking perv.
She was such a perv. They talk about this one part where at a dinner party, she goes upstairs and gets a bunch of scarves and then puts them on all of the guys and has all the girls take their shirts off and the guys touch their boobs. But I was like, how many?
Yes. Then he's like, that's disgusting. And I'm like, yes.
He is not like that.
I was like, ew. What an awful party.
You know, one thing I wanted to say on stage that I forgot to do right after the singer from Maroon 5 got in trouble for cheating. I think it'd be a funny joke to talk about how I like when these big names get caught cheating, because then you say it to your boyfriend and see how he reacts. Like, oh my God, do you see the singer of Maroon 5 cheated on his girlfriend? It was just
with a model, and I'm like, what a pig.
I'm like, oh, cool. So he thinks that was a pig move. Awesome.
Ghislaine Maxwell would have these parties where those girls would get topless and guys would feel their breath, and I was like, oh.
He thinks that breasts are gross, but he likes mine, so we're okay.
What pigs.
But yeah, that documentary, nothing funny to say about it, but it was really good.
It was sad. There was the fun fact. Not a fun fact. It was a fact nonetheless that we picked up on how the male, and because Jeffrey Epstein was a male predator. Ghislaine was, found as a female predator, and when a male predator, treats a woman or whoever wrongfully. We saw the interviews of those victims, and they're, blacked out because they want to hide their identity. They're crying.
They gave one girl the voiceover. It sounded like the Zach Galifianakis stand-up special.
Right. I mean, it's sad, and she's crying and very affected. And then there was an instance in this documentary where Ghislaine tried hitting on a guy, and they interviewed him, and it could not be more of a different dynamic of like when the female victims of Jeffrey were talking, they're just like, and rightfully so, cry, it's fucked up. And then this guy is like, yeah, I got I was doing a photo shoot with Ghislaine, and got drinks after, and we're talking about the shoot the next day, and she's like, I got a pretty hot Laura Croft outfit, and he's like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, the dynamic was so different.
He goes, yeah, she was creepy. She was weird.
I fucked her. She was creepy, but anyways, that bitch is wild. It's funny how she was trying to come on like, Jeffrey does it. I could do it too. And this guy's just like, you're a pervert.
Yeah, he was like, we're not doing this. And then how all of the it said former friends for everyone doing the documentary. They're like, don't write friend, write former friend. One thing I found interesting.
What? Don't write friend.
Oh, the documentary, it all said former friend underneath their name, to be clear.
Just write their name.
Yeah.
I
don't know. One thing that I found psychologically interesting was how two of the victims kept the items. So it was like a thing that
It felt like they wanted to feel like, oh, if I throw it away, I'm scared of that whole event, and I'm giving it more power than it needs, and I'm gonna use this thing and show it no importance and let it live with me still, so I can feel like I have power over it. I think that's what I gathered.
That's what they were saying, which until you're in that scenario, you would never know. But two of the girls did the same thing, and when
she's like, I wore the shoes Jeffrey bought me to the court case, which is a kind of a fuck you, where she's like,
I see the point. It's just something as an outsider with not experiencing that, you would think you just burped over this girl's rape story.
No, I didn't. I was growling at Jeffrey.
Oh, were you growling?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounded like a burp.
No.
As an outsider, it would seem like you would throw that item away, but the human brain,
you never know.
You don't know.
I mean, with exes, you throw their shit away. That's like me being like, I'm keeping this shit to show that fucking bit. And I'm wearing it. It's her outfit.
You're wearing her thong.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, you don't have power over me. She's wearing a girl's outfit. I'm not cross-dressing. I'm just showing this bitch who's boss.
Oh, God. Yeah. We're laughing at that, not those girls. But if you like that kind of documentary, I'd highly recommend it. Happy ending, because
she's innocent.
She's locked
Spoiler.
up. She's locked up. Okay, so do you have a good weekly wiener? I really segued out, and now we're back in.
My weekly wiener. No, I got it. I have so many running through my brain.
I know a good one I wanted us to talk about.
Just say it then.
The Uber situation.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was trying to think of something else. I think Uber, just as a whole company, needs to go. They're a weekly wiener. I mean, the day we talked about flying back from Austin, Ubers. I mean, right out the gate, when you try to get an Uber and you lock in a good price, the drivers know what the fare is, and then they don't accept it. And what's fucked up is after like 5 to 10 minutes, Uber will just cancel that and say, sorry, no drivers. And then you have to find a new drive. Is it a trip
but
at a higher rate?
Yeah, it'll close you out, so you lose the rate you had.
This is my wiener.
I thought you said whatever is yours is mine.
This is my wiener.
This wiener's my wiener.
This is our wiener.
This is our wiener.
That's what I do when I show my penis in public. This is our wiener. And they're like, you're at Cheesecake Factory. I go, just
don't get me started.
So anyways,
Don't
they
even
fucking
me
you get a
started.
good fare before like the rush of people get to this like little Uber area at the airport, and then no one accepts your trip and they cancel it, and then you get fucked at a higher rate, which you don't do. So you just keep deleting, closing the app and trying to get a new one. So first off, fuck you for that. I mean, literally the Ubers were upwards, like they're almost the same cost as our flight, which is like just insane to think about. And then on top of that, you finally get somebody thankful for them for, accepting our request or whatever you want to call it. And then we get in this fucking Uber. I mean, this guy's literally playing like Russian, like
news
NPR. That's very dramatic. And I literally pulled out my translator app on my iPhone to hear like what some of it was talking about. It didn't work that well, but it was a 40 to 50 minute ride from the airport back to the apartment, and it was literally blasting the whole time. And I'm not confrontation. I mean, a part of me could have been like, hey, can you turn this off? But I was just like, I sometimes don't, because I want the person to see if they have they know that it's weird. And at no point did he do that. And it was just blasting. I mean, we waited how long? Not to mention we waited like fucking a half hour to 45
probably
minutes.
More. It's freezing, windy.
Yeah, for the trip, and then we get in this thing, and it's fucking blasting Chernobyl news. We just watched that. That's why
we just binged it. It was so good. We were very
it was
behind,
just like propaganda. Like, it was so loud, and I'm just like, and you know what? It's like then I think about as the passenger. They fuck you, like Uber cancels your low fare trip, so you have to buy a higher one. Then you get a shitty driver, and you're like, and then at the end they're like, hey, make sure you tip your driver. You're like, why don't you suck the tip of my penis? Fuck you. I like this tip culture is just getting out of hand. I mean, you just fucked me with the price. I get this psychopath driver who's just blasting foreign news. Nothing against it. I'm just saying it was just loud radio. And then on top of that, I'm supposed to tip. You're like, no, I'm not going to do that.
You got a tip, but
no, I don't. What would you have tipped for on that trip for the fact that he just did his job?
Well, it's just part of it.
I don't tip always. Guess what?
He's a very generous tipper. This Uber driver, I
tip good. I tip the whole thing. I give the whole thing. If you're good. If you're not good,
well, he
no
opened
tip for you. No soup for you.
His trunk is full of shit.
Tips.
The car.
My car.
No. The Uber driver. When I left, I grabbed his gym shoe on accident, got caught on my suitcase.
I love when they get out of the car at the end of the trip. You're like, get the fuck back in. You did a bad job. You getting out of the car pretending like you're going to lift my fucking carry-on out of your trunk.
I was so uncomfortable that drive. And my stomach was already pains. My gas already started. I'm in pain.
She's got a volcano in her gut because she ate a burger.
Brewing.
She ate a burger like goddamn Kobayashi.
Swallowed this burger whole.
Yeah.
And
you're part snake. Nice. Her judgment.
It's not a good thing. So he's playing this music, and it's terrifying. It sounds like we're in the middle of war.
It was very bizarre.
It sounded like It
did like those hacky news things, like
yeah. Well, it wasn't Japanese. It was.
That was whatever language you wanted it to be.
Yeah, it was.
How would you even do Russian?
It wasn't.
That
was actually pretty good. That's kind of what it sounded like.
How come doing another language in a fake way is so hard?
It's so hard. We had to do gibberish to the groundlings as a game.
Oh, really?
And I would always get so nervous because I would sound like I had a mental disability on accident because he couldn't do it well. It was
Amanda. Wow, Amanda.
Whoa! You gave me the teacher.
Amanda, do French.
No.
Dinosaurs.
No. But it was very uncomfortable because that's how I did the gibberish, and I was like, I'm gonna fail this class.
When I see people that can do it well, I'm like, that's very hard to do.
It is.
My buddy used to work at Trader Joe's on Santa Monica and like, I don't even know where, not in Santa Monica, on Santa Monica Boulevard. And it was a big Russian population that would go. And one time he was like, yeah, there was this Russian lady who needed help. And somebody goes, who speaks Russian? He goes, I can. And then he went up to her and in front of his manager, he's like, and he's making up Russian. So the manager thought he was talking Russian, even though he knew it was fake. And the woman was like, I don't know what's happening.
What? That was pretty good there.
You have to know,
burping.
like, whenever you talk a fake language, it's not about what you're going to say, right? You have to, like, almost know what you're going to keep. It's the second line that's hard. You like, you have to keep, like, because you can find yourself saying the same sound over and over again, which is hard.
I want to say, though, that I think the problem, the why we were so scared for that, or I was so scared. Even when he pulled up the translator, I was like, don't, he's going to know. I was so scared.
Death to America. I was like, oh, shit.
We're fucked. They were talking about war. And I was like, I blame movies because they always make that voice sound like Taken.
Right. It was like 007. It was like it was every bad guy in any 007 movie voice. So, of course, we're going to be these naive American speakers.
Speaking of, and then we'll get into the embarrassing stories. Oh my God. So as we're waiting for the Uber at the airport, same day.
Oh, wow. I forgot about this guy.
Yeah. There's this guy in a blacked out like Lexus or something going, will cash offer.
Yeah. I will drive for cash.
We'll drive for cash.
And I was like, that's where people go missing. At least with the app, you're being tracked. There's some sort of, I guess you want to say there's some sort of like a vetting process with the drivers, but there's like a paper trail of like, you know, your ride and all that shit. But like these like what 4 dudes are like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, thank God they did it because, I mean, if a girl got in that car, I'd be like, I don't know, you don't do this.
I was like, I should take a picture of the license plate. It was so sketchy, which is ironic because we're like, they're taking this cash off, or probably ended up listening to Drake and Spice Girls on the drive.
Listen to Drake.
He looked like he would have put on Drake.
He goes, what do you boys like?
And those guys would have said Drake.
They would have said Drake.
And we're like,
and they go, hey, that was our turn. And he's
turns up Drake. And then we end up taking our Uber and then get stuck in listening to Russian news.
I'm always in a crossroad though, where it's like, we have said like, hey, can you turn this down? Like,
I couldn't.
My head's like, I'm in the car for a 50-minute drive. Like, I could have done that, but I was also like, I don't want to. We just had such a nightmare of like a trip of like waiting for the burger, being hungover, waiting for the Uber, and then I'm like, I gotta pick and choose my battles. But that was the wiener. Uber in general, these rideshare apps are just getting out of control.
I think we have to bring taxis back. Show them who's boss. Show them we don't need them.
The line at the LAX, the taxi line is huge.
It is true.
Because they fucking just go. They're there. It's why taxis were better originally. I mean, not originally, but like taxis got out of hand because they were douchebags, and then they'd pull up and like, where are you going? You're like, over here, and they would just drive away if they didn't fuck with you. And then Uber was good because they not had to, but like more times than none, they'd bring you. And then now it's like flip-flopping again, where like taxis are like, I'll just take you right now. You're like, thank God.
We got to go back to taxis.
Bring back the taxi.
Bring back the taxis. All right. We went on a wiener rant.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. So we should do this one embarrassing moment first because this is still the same trip. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll get it started.
What is it?
Some may say, that you were a wiener.
What?
So, we are...
The fuck does that mean? No. What the fuck does that mean?
So, we are leaving one of, like, Boston or something, and he's pushing down the overhead bin, pushing down the overhead...
Fuck.
Pushing on the overhead bin.
No.
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, he's forcing it. My mom said, never force anything. And just like that, never force anything. And he's forcing it. And then we hear noise.
First off, we're on an old Southwest flight and the goddamn overhead bin was made of like fiberglass with screws that are visible, which I'm like, okay, this is plain as made in the fucking early 90s. And it's so old, like a standard carry-on bag is like oversized in it. And on many of flights, we've seen stewardess. Is this an embarrassing story?
I
guess
definitely think so. I'm glad you suppressed it though. He turned red, so I'd say embarrassing.
No, I turned angry. So anyway, I've seen a million stewardess like slam these doors shut because people's bags need to get like shoved in. And as I'm doing that, like, long story short, the bag, there was like the joint or the hinge where the door was screwed onto, and then my bag was down here putting pressure. So what was happening was, and it was screwed from the underside rather than the top. But anyways, because I was pushing down over here, it was pivoting at my bag, and it yanked the door off the hinges. And as I was doing it, someone goes, "Hey, don't do that, don't do it." And I was like, "Well, oh, okay." And then I did it, and then you hear, and it basically ripped the door off the hinge, which I was like, "Oh, my bad." Like, you don't want to force it. I'm like, you always force it. Everybody's forced it. And I was like, also get a better plane, you fucking dinks. Like, if you're fucking breaking here, I don't trust this thing to make it to our destination.
So
anyways, so now this door shut. I have to move my bag, blah, blah, blah.
And not only do we have to move our bags, the other strangers whose bags were in the overhead bin had to move theirs too.
Right.
And not only did it break one overhead bin, it was adjoining, so it broke 2 overhead bins.
And literally every person that walked by tried to use that bin one, and they kept saying like, no, it was broken by somebody, and they would kind of like look in my direction.
At him. They kept giving the flight attendants kept giving him.
I know, like he's like
looks.
snarling at me, and I'm like, go fuck yourself. I mean, it's like, and then so on top of everybody trying to use that bin, and it was constantly being known that somebody, wink, wink, daddy, broke it. Then the flight, they had to bring in a maintenance guy on to duct tape it, which I'm like, hey, Southwest, the fuck are you doing?
And a loudspeaker before the maintenance guy came on. And then once the maintenance guy was like, sorry, there's a delay. One of the overhead bins is broken. We have maintenance coming aboard.
One of our passengers broke it, and I was just doing this. I go, what? Spirit doesn't have this problem. And everybody tried, and then they had to duct tape it shut. And there was a silver lining. When he was duct taping it shut, I made a quip, and I go, hey, maybe you should duct tape my hand so I don't break anything else. And got a few laughs.
It really it made the flight attendant go from hating us to laughing and being nice and getting us beers.
Yeah. Did we have beers on that flight?
Yeah, because we needed.
Oh, we did.
He had drink tickets.
Because we have a problem.
No.
We have a problem. I'm drunk.
Cheers.
I'm not drunk, but hey, I'll break all your planes. You should have seen what I did with the wing of the last flight.
Oh my gosh. I have to pee. Can you give us another wiener commercial? We need a new one.
Okay. I'll wait till you walk by. Hey, welcome back to Misery Loves Mandy's podcast, a podcast where misery is prevalent everywhere. If you're, take 2, fuck. Oh, shit. Welcome back to Misery Loves Mandy, a podcast about misery and Mandy, and the two combined. Guys, if you are familiar with the podcast, each week we have a wiener of the week. What's a wiener of the week? It's something, person, place, thing, idea that is bugging you to the point where you want to tell it to the internet where it's going to live forever. A wiener can be somebody who's singing loud in public, or a flight attendant who thinks they're the owners of Southwest. But regardless, each week we discuss our wieners and hopefully shed some light on the fact that we all have wieners in our lives. I petered out at the end of this rant because I don't even know if that's right, but it sounded right.
How'd it go?
Hey, welcome back to Misery Loves Mandy podcast, a podcast about misery and Mandy and wieners. Each week we show a picture of a flaccid dick and talk about it.
Oh, thanks for the commercial.
We're back.
We're back.
Okay, so that was my embarrassing moment, even though it didn't embarrass me because I was annoyed.
He was embarrassed.
I wasn't embarrassed. I was like, get the fuck, you idiots. I go, a common mistake. And then of course, in old man fashion, these two old dudes are like, I think the hinge, they're now describing the damage
in front of us.
Like they're going to fix it. And I'm like, oh, goddamn. Stop talking.
Oh, when we were on his first Spirit Airlines flight, we upgraded. This wasn't another flight.
Not a bad airline, by the way.
Their new planes are actually surprisingly really nice. We upgraded to the exit row for free.
They did ask for gas money, though.
That was weird.
Yeah, they go, who's got gas money? And I was like,
they gave us their Venmo.
I gave them $20. Okay.
So the craziest thing happened was we were like, wow, this plane is nice. The extra row was like so much space. Like, okay, we'll do this again. They sat a homeless person behind us.
Which is like, I feel bad, but it's like he was legitimately homeless.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, what do you frog?
I might have said this on another episode, but they sat him behind us. And luckily, because it wasn't also an exit row, they moved him because they weren't able.
But didn't he have a thing on his, like, he had like a lanyard of some sort that like said he needed assistance? Was he homeless? He just smelt homeless. He looked homeless. He was dirty. He smelt like absolute dog shit. Whether he needed help because of whatever reason, it's like he checked all the boxes. Let's just say that.
Let's say you don't want to sit next to him just because of his smell, but they moved him. He was nice. He seemed sweet.
Sweet guy. I felt bad, but
we definitely felt bad.
But I was like, that's homeless right there.
It was.
Spirit Airline is like, it can be a new plane. We're like, oh, it's not bad. There is just a level of unprofessionalism down. Like, I don't want to blame you do get a clientele of like people flying it that are something you're not typically familiar with in most flights, because I think other flights are more expensive, and nothing against them, but I think it weeds out a lot of the people you typically wouldn't see on a flight. So that's one thing. But then even with the stewardess or stewarders, whatever you want to call them, there's just like a level of like unprofessionalism that, I mean, especially when you're in the air, what your choice of words go very far. And we're about to land, and like the stewardess literally like to everybody in the front section goes, you got it, seatbelts. It's gonna be bad turbulence.
And we're like, oh, is this gonna be really bad?
Like, I was like, first off, don't scream there's gonna be bad turbulence and then power walk back to the front of the plane. Like,
they really, it was
don't
dramatic.
do that.
It was
Just
very...
say, hey guys, need your seatbelts on. It's gonna get bumpy. We'll resume service after. This guy's like, for fuck's sake, we're going down. And then he army crawled to the front of the plane, and I was like, who's that? And then honestly, wasn't even that bumpy. Mm-hmm. It was like two jitters, but you're like, what the fuck? And it's just like that. And like, even how they conduct themselves with the way they like roll up jackets and just shove it in the overhead.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't know what the fuck. I mean,
but they're actually kind of more chill.
It's like if they ask a passenger who wants to work this flight. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll do it. Oh, yeah. And then but I like how they serve ramen noodles in a cup on that flight. That's what I appreciate, though. It's like, it's so new. You see things, you're like, oh, okay, I can actually appreciate. I almost appreciate that everything costs money for the sake of the ticket being so cheap. Because I'm like, okay, at the airport, you're like a water's $3. You're like, you're gonna spend $5 at the airport anyway. So
no, on the plane it's $3.
On the plane it's $3.
Yeah.
But at the airport it's like $5. They do have like college cup of noodles you can buy, which I'm like, yeah, I even lead to you. I was like, I don't hate that.
No, we kind of wanted some. That's good. I've been. There's so much to talk about since we're together all the time. I keep getting sidetracked.
Do we do the embarrassing thing?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up into the embarrassing.
That I didn't turn into a joke,
or that you did. Whatever. One more story you want.
I thought I told this on here. I guess I didn't, but I think I don't know if I told you this. So I'm now working at my first construction. I've only worked at 2 construction companies. I'm back running a couple projects for the one that my first construction company I worked at. Great people. And when I first started working there, I remember like in the midst of me becoming a project manager, my boss like wanted me to like do these little tasks to like kind of see if I had what it takes to like be a project manager. And one of them was like go to his like house in like mid Wilshire area, and he wanted to put a skylight in. And I'm like, what are you having me do? Like these like weird like hazing activities of like, okay, now you're done there. We're gonna go to my house, and I want you to like tell me and get a price to put a skylight in. And I'm like, just doing errands for him, like that he should be doing on the side. So we go to his house and we go upstairs, and I remember like they want to put a skylight in, and the only way to like there's a crawl space. I don't know if you guys know, like it's that like latch in your ceiling, and you can see like above the ceiling where the roof is and all this shit. So the only one was in his daughter's bedroom. And I remember there was like her bedroom and then this like little side room with like a bookshelf. It was like this little mini desk office-y type thing. And the crawl space was above her childhood bookshelf. And I was like, okay, so we got like a little mini step ladder. And I was like, I think I got to step on the bookshelf to like see up there. And I literally move it up, and I'm like peeking over, and I'm like trying to like see, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, I think I want to put it like back there. And I was like, okay. And literally like clockwork, as I'm like, yeah, I think it's just right behind. And then the shelves just break and I fall on him, and we both fall into the wall, and he goes, ah! And we both fall. He like kind of tries catching me, but he like he falls into me into the wall. I scrape my whole fucking side. Literally just like the bookshelf just went. And then like, keep in mind, it's an empty house. I don't even know the guy that well at this time. And it's just me and him in like a room, just so tight. And he's like, bah! And we both fall on the ground on top of each other. And then we get up trying to beat dudes like, you good? Yeah, you good? And I was like, and I didn't want to be like, ow. So I went, yeah, you just got to put the skylight in the back over there. And then we just didn't talk about it. And then he bought me a roast beef sandwich.
So he understood that you tried your best, and
but it was just like so. It was like you ever know somebody not well, so like your relationship wasn't ready for that moment
to be on top of each other.
To have him fall into me, and we fall on the ground, and it wasn't like laugh. Nobody laughed like like it was just like so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh my God, I fucking hate this so much. I was like crawling, and then like he's like, do you want a roast beef sandwich? And I was like, I want to go home. And we just ate roast beef sandwich. But I think that was like a good bonding moment of like, we've never talked about it since. Like,
really?
Hey, remember when I broke your daughter's bookshelf from her childhood?
So he was nice about it. It sounds like he wasn't like, no, her bookshelf.
I mean, it wasn't my fault. I mean, I was like, I think I have to step on this. No, that's fine. And then I just fell. Pushed me into the wall.
His dick's in your face.
Yeah, we're 69ing at one point. And I'm just like, I'm like this.
Oh, you got a raise?
Yeah.
In his pants.
Hey. Into my mouth. All right.
Oh, huh? Sitting.
But yeah, it was just like one of those moments you just like shiver. You're like, oh, that was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You ever like a phone call someone, you get off the phone, you're like, ugh, what the hell was that?
He noticed that sometimes when I'm on the phone with someone or trying to get out of a conversation, when I'm ready for it to really be done, I'll start talking with a British accent.
Yeah, you're like the fucking guy from goddamn I Love You Man, where you're like, all right, I'll see you, all right. See you know.
I get real awkward sometimes.
Yeah, you get so awkward you leave the language you're used to talking. It's here.
Well, it's because it's like you don't want to be mean. So then
So changing your accent. I am serious.
Every time you just keep going Japanese.
Because it's fun.
You're pretty good at it. Yeah, so anyways. Oh.
I got to go.
Aaron was
Oh my God, I got to go. Jesus Christ, I love Jesus. All right.
We're allowed to do accents.
Silly.
I took an accent class once. Did I tell you that? I don't think I did.
No.
I was really bad at it.
Do your best one.
Scottish was fun, but I can't remember. She gave us a phrase to say.
Do your best one.
I don't have a best one. I didn't do well
Just do
in
an
the
accent
class.
right now.
Hello.
Jesus fuck.
I spent $500 in the class.
Oh my God. Mandy likes spending money on things like that. She's like, I got a new app. It's only $100 a month, but it's gonna work this time. And I'm like, stop.
I love apps. I got a running app. It gave me a whole I'm training for a half marathon
I'm
with
like, you've been
Audrey
working on
Stewart.
for 12 years. And you're like, I need a new app to tell me how to work out. I'm like,
They give you fitness programs. I'm
hello.
not. Hello. I
There you
want
go.
bigger buys.
That was all right.
Bigger buys and tries.
That was fine.
Bigger buys and tries and hammers.
What do you mean, bigger buys?
Whoa, you like rolled.
Bigger buys, bigger tries.
You rolled.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you, man, and your fucking buys. All right, I think we did it.
Was that fun?
This is a pretty good beer.
Right?
Free brand deal. Peter's brand. Wow, brand, of course. Brand classic. A Dutch style
Wow.
Pilsner. Superior quality product of Germany. Brewed and canned under the license of No Jews. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Union Export Brewery. Bread on. This is a good beer.
It's great. We had this somewhere.
Thank
and then
you
I went
for the beer, man. I fucking love
I
the
forgot where we
beer.
had this. And then I saw it at the store and I got it.
Trader Joe's.
Oh, when we
We
did
got-
the solo can. We'll do the solo cans from Trader Joe's to try new beers.
We have our own flight. We have our own spirit flight.
Well, thank you for coming back.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
He'll be back again.
Yeah, I will.
He didn't
With
mean
a new wiener.
He didn't mean those accents or the tipping thing.
No, I didn't.
Or the beer description.
Everything we said was fake. Except for the Willie Mammoth stuff.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Last time he was on, Last time he was on, my wiener was my neighbor who sings really
my
loud with the
God.
door open. And right when we got here, he was getting it. My neighbor was getting it.
I couldn't even do an impression of what he was doing. It was just like so like a. He was like.
It was weirder than normal. Oh, one last thing.
What's up?
Tell them where you're headlining.
Spokane Comedy Club in Spokane, Washington, December 4th. Come out, laugh, have fun.
Go see him. You won't regret it.
Let's go.
All right. Well, thank you for watching and thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Eye contact.
Let's do Patreon content now.
Okay.